We're here again, continuing in this very important series. We're still at the book of Ephesians. We're still at chapter 6, and we are continuing to look at the whole question of how do we survive in a world where the battle is not flesh and blood. And the apostle introduces us to another important element in the armor. He says, make sure you take the shield of faith. This is so important, the shield of faith. Now, I used to, as a little boy, like to watch war pictures of fighting with swords and shield, and I like to see a man who has the capacity to use his shield to block the sword and the many darts and spears and arrows thrown by the enemy. And the Apostle Paul, picking up on this same context and the same theme, rather, brings to our mind the use of the shield in this warfare. And the Apostle Paul tells us that the shield for this warfare, where you deal with things that are not flesh and blood, is faith. The Apostle Paul says faith is that shield. The Bible describes faith as the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews chapter 11. Substance of things hoped for. Faith is what gives substance to things that I don't see but I hope for. Faith is what gives evidence to things that are not yet, not even here. Faith, the Apostle Paul talks about us having faith as the only thing that would help us to ward off the fiery darts of the wicked one. Faith is what makes you step out in the face of adversity. Faith is different from belief, for belief might allow me to say, yes, it is possible to be done, but it's only faith that would make me step out to make it happen. And Apostle Paul tells me that if I have faith, I would be able to do above more than I could even dream of. Faith is what would be able to quench the fiery darts of the wicked one. I'd like to suggest quickly to you 3 areas in which the enemy sends his dart, and you would need faith to quench it. When he sends darts, he likes to send his dart to you in the context of what he makes you say about you. You see, when the devil says that you would lose, you need a faith that makes you know that you are more than conqueror through Jesus Christ. As this is such an important message for people ending one year and about to begin a new one. Faith is what would make you say to the enemy when he comes and tells you about sickness that by his stripes I am healed. Faith is what makes you look beyond it when disappointment comes and say that even though he slays me, yet would I trust him. Faith is what would make you look in the face of death and say, even though he dies, yet shall I live. This is what is important. When the enemy tells you things about yourself that you're not nice or you're not this, faith makes you look beyond yourself and see what God says. Faith is also important for when you're dealing with what he says to you about others. How many of you have heard the enemy say that you ain't gonna make it, or that this one wants to hurt you, or that one wants to do something to you, or walk over on you, or something like that? Faith makes you look beyond what you see, what you hear about what they want to do to you, cause God would take care of you. When they say they will destroy your children, faith makes you say, I know that he says in his word that he will contend with them that contend with me and would save my children. But the final type of dart that the enemy often sends is what he says about God. What he says to us about God, that God would leave you, that you know he wouldn't care for you. You know you're in this by yourself. You know he won't handle this situation for you. But I came here to tell you that it is faith that would make the difference. Let me say this quickly. Faith must not be in the thing I hope for. It must be in the one who could handle it for me. I must not be worried about if I will be healed. I must be checking for my healer. Faith is belief. that only God could give the gift or do the stuff that I ask him to. And whether God chooses to do it or not, faith holds on to God as if he's the only one that can provide it. As you face this new year, have that kind of faith. Faith that would not shrink, though pressed by many a foe, that would not tremble even on the brink of poverty or woe. Say like the songwriter, Lord, give me such a faith like this, and then whatever may come, I will taste even here the hallowed bliss of my eternal home. May God bless you as you hold to your faith in 2015. God bless you.